Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. It is build day in the studio, which is always an exciting day. So hopefully we're going to take our random pile of parts and create something really cool. So let's jump in and start the build. Yes, welcome back to the channel, you guys. I hope you're having a fantastic day today. As I mentioned, it's build day in the studio, which is always super exciting. Now, as I was prepping for this video and sort of test fitting some parts, I did run into two issues. Number one, the holes in the body were a little bit too small to fit the pots, so I just had to widen out each one of those holes so that the pots could slide through and we could mount them properly. The second thing is I wasn't quite comfortable with how tight the neck was. It really took a lot of pressure to seat in there. And then I think, if there's a temperature change, it could really, crack the finish or, cause some like expansion cracks. So I just sanded out the pocket of the neck just a little bit so that it was very, snug, but not overly tight. So those two things out of the way, let's start our build. All right, you guys, let's kick things off by installing our tuning machines. This is a nice, easy job to kick off a build. So we're going to use the ratios, as I mentioned in the previous unboxing video. And I love these because they have, mounting brackets for any style of guitar, which means you're not doing permanent modifications to your guitar. If you ever go to sell it, you just remove the ratios, put on the stock ones, sell the guitar. And of course, there's no reason why the ratios wouldn't last a person a lifetime. They're really well built. So there you go. And then each one is numbered. So we have 1, 2, and 3 installed already. So I'm looking for 4. Here we go. Then 5. And the reason they're numbered is each tuning machine has a unique internal gear that allows you to turn each one of them the same amount. So you're not, cranking that first string and then just barely touching the 6th string, to snug it up. Then we're just going to put the little washer and collar on. So here we go. There we go. I'm just going to sort of finger tighten it here. And then we'll come back with a socket and snug it up. Again, these things don't have to be tightened up like crazy. Just enough so that, they're secure in the guitar neck. So there we go. And then we'll come back with a socket and snug it up. There we go. Now I should mention that each one of these is also its own height as well. So as we go towards the end of the headstock here, hopefully you guys can see this. Maybe I'll show you from a different angle. But yeah, these ones here are super short. And then as you come here, they're a little bit taller. So that just keeps the strings kind of moving through the nut here, hopefully at a really good angle that holds the string into the nut, but not so hard that it binds there. So that's the idea. So really cool tuning machines. I've used these guys a lot and they work just really, really well. So love the height adjustments, love the lockers. I love the fact that it's not a permanent mod. Now, as for the nut, we've got a bone nut. I think Fender's been using bone nuts on their American series since 2017, I think, whenever it switched from, the American Standard to the American Professional necks. So hopefully it's cut nice from the factory. We'll check that out when we string it up and do that, but shouldn't have to do too much to the nut. Now, as for the frets, I'm just going to polish them up using 1000 grit foam kind of sanding sponge here. Probably time for a new one. This one's looking a little ratty, but I should mention the fingerboard edges on this neck are rolled beautifully. So lots of times I'll roll the fingerboard edges as well, but this one just feels wonderful. And I don't really need to polish them up other than I like to see, super shiny fret ends without any tooling marks or anything. That's just, a personal preference. So we're left with great feeling and great looking fret ends free from any tooling marks. And other than that, I moisturized the rosewood board. So it just looks fantastic. This channel bound neck, absolutely fantastic with the maple. That deep rosewood just really pops. So love the look of that. And I think we're ready to go with the neck. Let's move on to the body. All right, you guys, now let's install our bridge pickup into the bridge. And of course, it's just gonna fit like this. Boom, and we've got 3 screws and 3 springs. So let's install those. There we go. And once we have the screws and springs in, then we can set the overall height and of course the tilt. So if we want more, the pickup higher towards the bass strings or the treble strings, it's fully adjustable via these 2 screws and the overall height. So great setup. There we go. That's how it looks in the bridge. Ready to rock. Now, before I get too carried away, I'm going to install the string ferrules, because we don't want to be, setting these guys up if we've got the bridge, underneath or pickups there. So let's get these guys installed. First, I'm just seating them with a rubber mallet here. There we go. So nothing, nothing too crazy about this job. We just want to have them, seated in there. That one went in there a little loose, but all the rest seem to be pretty good. There we go. I think that's about even, and there we go. The strings will go right through those babies into the front, and we can move on. Now, when it comes to Partscaster builds, I always seem to do it in the wrong order. I'll attach the bridge, run the wiring, and then I'll grab the neck pickup and realize, oh, I can't run the neck wiring with the bridge on, take it off. Not today. We're learning slowly but surely. So anyway, we're starting in the right order with the neck pickup, and I've taped the ends together with just some painter's tape, and we should be able to just pull that through. And there we go. What a pretty pickup, hey? If you guys missed the unboxing video, I go through all the parts in really great detail. I'll also link to them in the video description below, but there you go. And then we'll hopefully just be able to slide this into the back cavity. There we go. Okay. Now we can move on and do the bridge. Of course, we'll add our springs and screws to mount and be able to raise and lower the neck pickup here yet as well. Okay, and then now we'll do the same thing. We'll just run the neck or the bridge wiring through, and then we'll attach the bridge. Now, when it comes to Partscaster builds, in my experience, it's never just straight assembly, unless you're building a kit. But when you're doing a Partscaster, there's always something that needs to be done, whether it's, widening these holes out, whether it's, sanding the pocket a bit so the neck fits just right, or in this case, locating the bridge. So I've previously done this when I was, doing the pre-fitment, but I'll show you how I did it. So tape down the bridge once each one of these 6 string holes is lined up with the holes in the guitar. Those were drilled. So now once that's straight, then you can take your bit and drill out your mounting screws. So I've got a little piece of tape here just so that you don't accidentally blow through the body on the backside. And then once everything's taped down and located, you can just drill them out. And as I said, I've previously done this. Just like so, and then we're ready to mount the bridge. Okay, so I've started the screws. Now what we can do is just anchor the bridge down. I'll start with the 2 outside screws here. And I think I'm just going to get them close and then tighten them up by hand, just so. Just like that. And then I'll come back with a screwdriver and snug them all down. All right, now that we've got the bridge attached, everything is super solid. There are 2 other mounting screws at the front of the bridge. We might as well, put some screws in there as well since we have it. So I'm just going to center those. There we go. Drill down, and one more. Center that. There we go, and then we'll put a couple screws in there. All right, you guys, now it's time to mount the neck pickup. Now, of course, this pickup is not going into a pickup ring or a pick guard, so I had to dig through my parts bin to find, the proper screws for this. So we're just gonna sort of get the hole started. There we go. Then I'll pop it out. We'll put our springs in and then put our screws in. All right, you guys, now it's time for the wiring. So we've got our 4-way Telecaster switch, we've got our coil split, and we've got, of course, our output jack. So time to heat up the soldering gun and get her going. Next up, let's install the output jack. So here we can just thread it on, just like so. And then we will anchor it to the body, and it's never going to cause any problems. So we'll just, I think I'll locate it with the screws right there and there. I'll drill those in, something like that, and we're good to go. All right, you guys, now it's time to tighten up our pots. So we'll just snug those there. Snug this one here. There's our push-pull and our tone, perfect. And then we just need to screw in our switch. Now, because we're doing a back route with a thick top, these screws that normally would be perfect for going through a pick guard are way too short. Thankfully, went to my parts bin and we found some longer screws. So here we go. Those will go perfectly through the top into the switch with lots of thread left over. Well, you guys, we are making some serious progress. Let's throw on our tele knobs here. These are really heavy duty, you know, all metal knobs, not like those plastic ones that you just kind of slide on. These ones have some set screws. So let's go ahead, tighten that up. There we go. That feels great. And then this one, of course, is our coil split and volume. There we go. Lovely. Well, I can hardly believe it, but it is time. We are going to put on our neck. So here we go. Nice tight fit. As I mentioned, I sanded it down. No lip right here, so nice and smooth, so it's all lined up. Now all we have to do is flip it over, put the plate on, and screw it on. Well, you guys, we're getting super close to completing the build. There's a few odds and ends I still need to do, like put on the strap buttons. I didn't forget them this time, so I do have them. I did forget a Telecaster switch though, so I've got like a strap switch on there, which does not do the job, so I'm gonna have to swap that out. But anyway, I'm gonna string this up. Let's test out some of the tones. So that's why you build a Telecaster custom. That big, fat, juicy humbucker just sounds, you know, absolutely beautiful. So we'll go through a few sounds for you guys. Now, you know, I haven't stretched out these strings, so it could get a little sour. But anyway, yeah, that's that, that really big, full Porter Classic in the neck. And when we take that tone and roll it off, so there you go, and then we can of course split that. So a really great split sound. So here's the full humbucker. And then the split. So a nice, you know, variation there. Okay, and then let's jump over to the bridge, because we definitely want to hear that, you know, as well. That, I don't know. And then back to that neck. Then back to the bridge. Kind of pooched that chord. Let's try that one again. Really nice, present kind of tone. Really chimey. That bridge, the Lambert tones sounds really fantastic. Then let's go to just like a pure clean tone to kind of show off the rest of the tones here. So yes, we showed you guys the split. Really great in position 3 here with that split. So lots of different tones, you know, on tap. I'll have to keep, you know, experimenting with them, kind of get used to them a little bit more. But so far, yeah, that bridge and the neck just sound fantastic on their own. And then there's some really nice, you know, like that neck split, and then like some of these tones split as well, just to get that like. So it's nice to have, you know, a Tele that still gets some of that kind of like out of phasey kind of sounds. You know, and then just go to that neck, hit some little light overdrive, and then just, you know, get this really nice kind of creamy tone. And then the back cavity here, let me just turn the volume off. Do I have it here? I don't even have it here. Anyways, this switch, because the top is so thick and the back cavity is so thick, I just need to take my Dremel tool and just kind of carve out a little bit of that back cover because it's not sitting flush. So I need to do that yet, and then just set up the action. I did the intonation and everything just on here. So that's kind of like a brief look at what it sounds like, and of course I need to get a proper Tele switch. I couldn't stand that Strat switch on there, so I just don't have anything. I always forget at least 1 or 2 things on a build. There we go. So anyway, yeah, this is kind of like the culmination of this build. So like I said, there's a couple, you know, small things to do yet. I did put on the strap buttons, if you guys noticed there. And other than that, I mean, it plays, you know, super fun to play already. Just need to tweak a few things, but overall love the aesthetics of it. Yeah, so there you guys go. Thanks for coming along on the build. I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, be sure to do so. A list for all the parts that I used is down in the video description below. Other than that, have yourself a fantastic day.